Hi folks, and welcome back to the plot for the hat trick harvest. Okay, there is like quite a lot of negative stuff on the plot at the moment that I could be looking at, I could be focusing on, but the main priority, if you've got it, you know, if you've got fruit and veg ready to harvest, then harvesting should be the main priority, shouldn't it? And it's good to focus on the positivity of that, the joy that it brings. We're doing the tomato harvest today, and then once I've done that, then that's kind of my last major harvest, and I can actually do a bit more sorting out of what is turning into a jungle. Maybe I'll be able to finish the polytunnel as well, but like I say, we're going to focus on the positive, and I've got loads of tomato varieties that I've grown this year, loads I've been telling you about as the year goes on, and now I've tasted pretty much all of them. I think all of them, yeah. So I'm going to do a bit of a rating, and we're going to do a bit of deciding kind of what's best to grow next year and what I'm probably not going to try again. Now, just in case you're new here, this is the greenhouse 6x8. I've got down here 4 little quad grow pots, and these plants haven't done too well, but that is complete user error. I love these quad grow pots. They're like a self-watering system. Really, really good, but the plants that went in here were very runty. You know, they were really kind of the runts of the litter. And in here, I've gone straight into the ground for the first time this year. It was a bit of an experiment, wasn't sure how they were going to do, but they have done phenomenally well. I did lose a couple right at the start, I'm not really sure why. They have kind of turned into a bit of a jungle. So generally speaking, I think I've done a reasonable job of side shooting, but when I started building the polytunnel about a month ago, this all took a back seat. So it's all gone completely crazy. We have had a lot of pest issues in here as well, spider mites, and also there was a caterpillar that appeared in here, and it belongs to a moth called the bright line brown eye, one of the noctuids that like things like this. And oh, it did a real number on the tomatoes. They don't just eat the leaves, they eat the actual fruit as well, so it's quite easy to think that maybe it's a rodent or something like that, because they really will go for it, and then the slugs get in and your fruit can really get hit. So thankfully I noticed those fairly early on, got rid of most of them, and we've had some really good harvests from here. Personally, I always tend to get pretty lax with the pruning towards the end of the season. So long as I've had a good number of trusses and kind of lots of fruit has been set, then I don't really mind if it just goes a bit crazy and a bit wild towards the end of the season. So just quickly, I'll talk through the varieties and try and show you the plants as best I can, and then I'll do a big harvest and show you the actual fruit and what I think. The first one is Sungold, which is kind of a classic, this little orange cherry. Then I've got a couple of mystery brads. Now this is, I had it labelled as a Brad's Atomic Grape, but you can see it's really dark, and a lot of people think this might well be a different tomato entirely, so that's fine. And then in the next one, we've got the orange Accordion, which has been really cool. You can see some nice big fruits down there. And this one of the Romas, there were a few Romas that I just grew for sauces. That one's a chili pepper, not a tomato. This one in the foreground here, as you go up, this had terrible leaf curl, and actually it's not set much fruit at all. You can see one just here. This is the Indigo blue chocolate, and unfortunately loads and loads of vegetation, but just not many tomatoes off that one. They were very tasty, so I might give that one another go. Down here we've got some Crimson Crush, a nice doer, kind of reliable, nothing special, but does grow quite well. Then in the corner you can see as well down here, if I show you the stems, these are packed in pretty tight. You know, there's a lot going on here. They were packed in far too tight. It was all a bit of a rush, and I didn't have enough of a support system. But we've got another Sungold, and then in the corner, Black Strawberry. That's a favourite, I'll talk about that. Then we've got the Black Moon, which hopefully has some fruit on it somewhere. Hopefully I can find one. This is some of the Black Moon. Now this goes a really dark red, and you can see these are just nowhere near ripe, which is a bit of a shame, because that is a favourite too. And then just to the left, I've got another orange Accordion. It's really hot in here, even though the sun's not out. It's so warm today, so I'm going to get in, give it a harvest, and I'm not sure there's going to be quite as many as I thought there might be actually, but give me a minute and we'll find out. So, can you see me there? Hello. It shouldn't surprise me by now, but it does. Every time I come into this greenhouse and do a little bit of work on the tomatoes, it takes so much longer than I was expecting, and look at this. It's really one of those things that once you start taking out the side shoots and doing a bit of pruning, it's hard to stop. Let me get rid of this and then we'll talk tomatoes. That is quite a nice big pile of tomatoes. This is probably my 4th major harvest of this kind of quantity, and I'm really pleased. Let's go through one by one. So first up, and don't worry, I'm not going to be doing lots of eating. I know some people are really off-put by the noise of eating on camera, which I totally understand. So I've tried most of these, so I don't need to be eating these all the way. You can see the Sungold, a lot of green ones on here because I had to really chop away at the top. But Sungold, the flavour of this one for me, probably an 8 out of 10. Really sweet and tropical. At the start of the season though, most of these weren't that nice, and they were definitely ripe. So probably an 8 out of 10 for taste. Ease of growing, pretty good, pretty prolific. I haven't really decided on exactly the criteria here, but the main issue with these is tough skins. So they're nice if you cut them up in a salad, but on their own, pretty gross, to be honest. So tough skins, and they do like to split very easily. So if you leave them on the plant just a little bit too long, so they're quite difficult, I find, Sungold. Probably better to have in your garden or something like that, where you can look every day and check them. If you've got an allotment and you're only doing it every few days, it's a little bit more trickier, I think, the Sungold. But will I grow them again? Probably. I think probably. That's what we'll do. We'll do taste, ease of growth, and will I grow it again? Something like that. We'll see how it goes. Oh yeah, attractiveness, that's the other thing. How pretty are they? Let me just chop this one up a little bit. We've got to talk about attractiveness and visual appeal, because this one, the black strawberry, oh my goodness, easily the most pretty tomato I've ever grown. I really kind of fell in love with this one straight away and was so excited. It's just amazing, amazing colour. But unfortunately, it's a 10 out of 10 for looks, but probably a 4 out of 10 maybe for eating for me. The flavour is pretty good, maybe 4 is a bit harsh. The flavour is okay, but the texture, it doesn't do it for me. It's a real mealy one. You know, it's really quite mushy and a bit like jelly in the mouth. It's just not particularly pleasant, which is such a shame because they look so good. So these ones will unfortunately be going for sauce, which, like I say, is just such a shame because they look so good. A quick mention, unfortunately, I don't have any ripe ones, I can't believe it, but the Black Moon, the F1 Black Moon, 10 out of 10 for eating, 10 out of 10 for ease of growing, and a 10 out of 10 for looks. The Black Moon is the star of the show for me this year. It is absolutely phenomenal. It looks so good. It is an F1, which maybe it could lose a few points for on this mystery scoring system. But yeah, I will definitely be doing Black Moon again. Black Strawberry, I'm not too sure on. It is gorgeous, but unsure. Now next up, Crimson Crush, kind of classic salad tomatoes. I first grew these last year and I was a little bit disappointed because they're not really one that you grow for flavour, to be honest. These are ones that are a reliable cropper. It's a great sauce or a salad tomato. It really tastes like one you'd buy at the supermarket, to be honest, but it's blight resistant, it's pretty cold resistant, it crops really well, and it's nice and reliable. I'm really glad I did these, to be honest, because I didn't have many reds. These are pretty much the only reds really that I've got. I really wish I'd done Gardener's Delight as a cherry, but yeah, Crimson Crush, not the best flavour, but it's got it everywhere else that it counts, I think. Next up, the Brads, and I think this might be the Fusion, and it is a gorgeous tomato. They are really cool, but I don't know if I will grow this again next season. Pretty easy for growing, and I must say actually it should score some points for being so prolific. It's definitely one of my better cropping tomatoes this year. It has grown fairly easily. I did as well get, look, this one mutant, really strange. Most of these are kind of plum shaped. I don't know why this was like one of the first ones that fruited. And one of the drawbacks of these for me is they take a really long time to ripen. A few of these aren't quite ripe yet. They're also quite difficult to tell when they're ripe, and even when they are ripe, when they're almost falling off the plant and almost falling apart, they're so squishy. Just not the best flavour for me. Probably a 6 out of 10 for flavour. My partner Jess liked them a bit more than me, but they do taste a bit green. Maybe it's because they look green, maybe it's psychological, I don't know, but quite kind of acidic. They're described as tasting sweet, but not really getting that for me. So these are on the maybe list, I think. Now the next one, this dark mystery Brads, Please do let me know in the comments if you know what this is, or if you know what you think it is. I don't think it's fusion. It tastes sweeter. This one is nicer, but less prolific, and really slow to ripen. I just said that about these fusion, the green ones, but these are even slower. Some of these aren't ripe again. And if I was going to do Brads again, it would be this dark one. So maybe I'll save the seed from this one, because yeah, they are a nice texture as well, a nice texture for eating, but just, they taste a bit green, to be honest. They taste a little bit underripe, even if you leave them for months. These have been on the plant for a really, really long time. Another one that I unfortunately don't actually have any of at the moment is that Indigo blue chocolate. I can never say that, Indigo. The Indigo blue chocolate I definitely will be growing again, because it was A, beautiful, and B, delicious. It was absolutely gorgeous, but we only had like 3 tomatoes off there. So I'm hoping it was a bit of a dicky plant, you know, a bit of a dodgy plant, and we'll give it a go next year, and hopefully we'll get a few of those, and they were really, really good. And then last, look at this tiny little one. This orange Accordion is the main one I harvested today. Now, I harvested one of these that was a whopping 700 grams, coming up to 800, I think. So when you do these right, they are gorgeous. There's still quite a few on the plants, and they're probably like a 7 out of 10 for taste. You know, they're definitely just so funky, really cool. This one hasn't got that kind of that curvature of the accordion shape, but yeah, really nice, good, kind of fresh, zesty, almost slightly floral with this one. Not super sweet. I do like a sweet tomato. I think that's the thing that I've kind of discovered this year. A lot of people say some of the tomatoes are too sweet for them, and I'm there like, well, I'm not getting any sweetness. So yeah, I think I do have quite a sweet palate, but Black Moon, probably the star of the show. Indigo blue chocolate, if I'd had a better crop. And I really just miss the Gardener's cherry, the Gardener's Delight cherry, and the black cherry, probably 2 of my favorites that I've not grown this year, and I wasn't that sold on Sungold. There's another one as well, I forgot, quick mention of the Honeycomb. That one I'm growing at home with a load of plum tomatoes in the back garden. Honeycomb I did not enjoy, to be frank. The taste was really weird. Someone commented, and I think it might have been Dawn, and she said it had a weird savory or umami flavor, and I was so glad, because I thought it was just me. I was like, is it just me who's getting this weird savory taste? It's very hard to describe, and I've never tasted anything like it. If you've tried the Honeycomb this year, similar color to the Sungold, let me know, because that one was not one of my favorites. It's been so cool having this extra greenhouse this year for the tomatoes. You can see in here, I've still got loads of green ones. Much easier to see now that we've had a good prune. There's some more black strawberry on there. They just need maybe another week, and then we've got quite a few of the Black Moon. You might be fooled into thinking that they're starting to ripen at this kind of stage, but they go actually a really nice kind of proper red. They really brighten up, almost like this one up here when they're ready, and they are just so good. Let me know in the comments what your favorite tomato that you grew this year was, because I'm starting to think about seeds. I'm also starting, and this is a bit of a PSA, remember, do have a go at taking some side shoots and trying to overwinter them. And of course, remember to save some seed from your tomatoes. I'm going to be doing that with a few of mine this year. I've never done it before. Hopefully I remember, but thank you ever so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you again next time with an extra special thank you as well to my Chili Pepper tier patrons, Tony, Bill, Pam, Louise, Mel, Michael, Denise, Socks in the Garden, and Andrew.